program was produced or sponsored by a community member. The content, views, and opinions expressed are the sole responsibility of the producer and do not reflect those of Malden Access Television, the City of Malden, or Comcast. MATV welcomes your comments. Call us at 781-321-6400 or email us at access@matv.org.
And then there was light. I did not do that.
Here.
Oh, you're going wild outside.
Yep.
There you go. Come on, Pistons, play.
Hello and welcome to this broadcast of the Malden Neighborhood Basketball League. I'm Jim Foley alongside Elias Feldman and our special guest, Gary Christensen. Gary, welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me back for this third and final game.
Well, we have a matchup between the 1-7 Lakers and the 4-4 Pistons. We're ready to tip off here.
Or are we?
The Pistons starting lineup is Alan Freeman, Kevin Barry, Charles Washington, Steve Sands, and Marcus Bailey. For the Lakers, Dylan Hager, Chris LaForest, Josh Gomez, Deshaun Bunch, and Johnny Jean. Pistons are off to a quick lead here, and they'll look to score again. They're up 2-0 early in this ballgame. Washington. Ball gets tied up, and they'll get a jump ball.
And the Pistons without their second leading scorer today, Garner, who's averaging 14.3 on the season. He's out due to a family function, so he will not be around. He runs the point for the Pistons.
That's right. We've seen Craig Garner perform very well this season. That's a tough blow for this Pistons team. Fortunately for them, they're not playing the hardest team in this league. Lakers, for them, they're going to have to try to take advantage.
And why are the Lakers on tough times here? They rebuilding as well?
They're also rebuilding. They don't have their two leading scorers from last year, in Ward and Vilsaint, who have moved on to bigger and better things. So they're a very small team as well, as you can see. Very similar build to the Bullets roster. Very small, yet they're very speedy and quick. They're anchored by two twins, the Jean twins.
Johnny and John. Inside, jump shot no good. Rufo comes down with the rebound. Rather, that was Kevin Barry. Kevin Barry's a good quality man for the Pistons, number 56.
Yep.
Barry averaging 16.4 on the year.
You see him there on the baseline, misses.
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Barry looks like he lost weight since last season.
He's definitely slimmed down, gotten leaner, more muscular, and he's in turn gotten quicker.
How was Coach Beanie taking a 1-7 start?
he's taking it well. He knows what his team is about right now. He has not expected his team to be a Final Four team at this point in time. So he's working with what he got. But that's still no excuse. He wants his team to perform to their own potential. So even if they're not playing best overall, if they're playing to their best, that's what he wants. Hager, no good. Pistons come up with it. Hager commits the foul. And you'll see Hager has a very short fuse. If he commits a foul or a call goes not his way, he'll definitely show his disappointment.
And similarly to the Sixers team we saw earlier today, this Pistons team right at 500 at 4-4. This is kind of a turning point for them, make or break.
Marcus Bailey at the top of the key. He's fouled. Johnny Jean picks up the foul there, first of.
With the win, the Pistons will tie the Sixers for 4th place in the league. That'll set up quite a battle as we come down the home stretch of this 2007 season.
Certainly 3 through 5 is a tight bunch. Barry, through everybody, tries to force up the shot, does not hit rim. They're trying to come right back with it, and a jump ball is called.
And especially without Craig Garner today, this is a Pistons team that won't overpower the Lakers, but they distribute the ball real well. They have a pretty big team, but they're not so athletic, so they like to set up that half-court offense and establish some sort of game down low.
Josh Gomez picks up the foul there. 2 quick fouls here on the league. Marcus Bailey, jump shot, falls. And the Pistons set their 2-3 defense. Lakers quick passes here, finally get it down low, and a foul is called. Charles Washington picks up the foul.
LaForest will go to the line for 2. He's only shot 5 free throws on this season, only made 1. 20% from the stripe.
Well, you'll see his way of shooting is
somewhat unorthodox.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Chris Dudley, former New York Knick, who shot that over-the-shoulder kind of free throw style.
very true. Wow. I don't know where that pass was going, but it ended up out of bounds. So the Pistons, meanwhile, have jumped to a 6-0 lead here in this 4th quarter.
Come on, Pistons!
The Lakers push their offense, trying to get their first points of the game 5.5 minutes in. Jean penetrates to the basket, had the open shot, decided to go in instead, misses the shot, and there's a foul on the play. We'll see substitutions here. In comes Joe Wilhart for the Pistons and John Jean for the Lakers.
Minister Bernard Stroud, the Lakers' assistant coach, was on Around the Rim this past week, and he said the main reason why the Lakers are struggling is simply because his players didn't put in the necessary work this offseason in order to really improve.
Oh.
That's right. We've known pretty much going in all season that they've needed to improve their work ethic. Ever since the season started, Coach Beanie and Coach Stroud, Minister Stroud, have been aware of this, and they're just trying to get their team to play as a team and play to their own potential. Whether they have the talent or not is something that can develop, but ethic is something that they can do at any time.
But that surprises me with a Coach Beanie-led team. That the work ethic's not there?
Well, not to their potential at least. It might be good for some other coaches, but for these guys, you know they have high standards.
I see.
They're also a very young team. They only have one player that was on their 2005 championship team.
Shot doesn't fall. Lakers come up with it.
That player is Josh Gomez. This is his 3rd year on the Lakers.
Spin around 3 ball does not fall. Here goes Kevin Barry on the right side. Ball hits the floor. Barry is able to get the ball. Bailey takes it, goes nowhere with it. Jump ball is eventually called. comes up with it for the Lakers. They'll set the offense. Johnny over to John. Back to Johnny, puts up the shot, does not fall, gets his own rebound, no go again. And we get another jump ball. The score is 6-1 in favor of the Pistons. 2:37 left in the first quarter. Sean Bunch, number 3 for the Lakers.
Bunch averaging 5 points per game on the year.
John rejected. Kyle.
Is he wagging the finger?
Kevin Berry's trying to pull a little Dikembe Mutombo right there with the finger.
Yeah, no.
Bunch looking for the open man. Gets it back. He's being swarmed.
Watch the baseline, guys.
Gets fouled with the reach in. Another substitution for the Lakers. In comes number 33, Andrew Deliacano. And he'll get right into the action. He'll inbound from underneath the basket.
Self defense, guys.
Coach telling Johnny to look inside.
Bunch shuffled his feet right there.
They'll get called for the travel, and they turn it right back over to the Pistons, who have a 5-point lead. Lakers have managed just 1 point here in this first quarter.
And gentlemen, we've seen quite a few low-scoring games here, games that have started off real sluggishly. And we can only assume that this game is going to pick up a bit.
There must be something in the air today. Another jump ball.
And it's good to see Hager take a very nice quick move towards the basket. And Coach Beanie is up in arms that no foul was called on that drive to the basket.
Lakers win the tip. Gene, fade away, no good. Deliacano can't hit, and there, that time, Hager is fouled.
This could be another paint drying experience.
And we'll see if Hager can hit his first free throw of this season. He's only 0 for 4, doesn't go to the stripe too much, which is surprising for a big man. And we've seen him take up the ball strong to the basket on the past couple of possessions.
Well, we can take this time to remind our Malden residents about what's going on around in the neighborhood lately.
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest thing that we're trying to figure out is we have the budget process just about to begin. We have the placement of a new city hall that we're trying to figure out. And then we're, oh, is he all right?
Oh, he's pumped up. He's fine.
And the Gene Twins are taking over this ball game.
Right.
One thing I was happy to see that Fairway School Council has been trying to work with the league to make sure the doors are covered downstairs, so there is coverage that people are coming in when they should come in. Happy to see it downstairs. I saw a couple coaches watching the doors, and school committee people, Greg Lucy and Peg Crow, came in last week. Uh-oh, wait a second. Second time his hat's come off.
I was going to say, safety, it's good that that's a popular issue here, but we got to keep ourselves safe from Coach Beanie.
Yeah, you get that right. Plus, I see his sidekick there, the Terminator.
For our next telecast, we should mic him up.
Let's go, guys.
Meanwhile, Kevin Berry for the Pistons tries the pass. It's knocked away by the Lakers, and they'll keep possession.
This is a Piston team that's been struggling of late. They started the season strong, but have lost their last 2 ball games.
The Lakers trying to set up some type of offense here in the last minute of this first quarter. Jump shot is short. Rebound falls all over the place. Freeman is able to come down with it. Turns right back over. The Lakers, who are down 4-6. Turn it right back over. Marcus Bailey spins left to right, takes the jumper, no good.
We'll see if Bunch decides to hold for the last shot.
I think players just told Coach Bean to be quiet.
Let me concentrate,
Number
Coach.
3.
That's right, Bunch has 5 seconds to shoot. He'll take it here, rather distribute it. And Gene did not have enough time to get that shot off. He got it off, but it wasn't the greatest shot. And at the end of the first quarter, the Pistons have a 2-point lead, 6-4. And Coach Beanie wants to discuss things over with the Zebras. In the meantime, we'll watch what goes over on in
Coach
the Pistons.
Beanie, he's skipping
lineup.
the team huddle.
He's looking for a clarification on certain rules. We'll see how they discuss it right here.
Jim, they're not discussing a rule. They're reciting Shakespeare over there at the scorer's table, believe it or not.
Really?
That would be pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Pistons break their huddle, ready to find some type of offense going. They've certainly gotten their defense set.
I don't think Coach Beanie even made the team huddle.
No, he did not.
The scorer's table.
Minister Bernard Stroud is the Lakers' assistant coach. He was in the huddle that time, just coming off knee surgery. And right back out on the sideline only a few weeks after his operation.
Beanie is arguing for consistency here.
Very abstract term, but that is the way you define a good ref against a ref that is not so good, is whether or not he is consistent, and that's really all you can ask for. And for any referee or umpire in the sporting world, it's consistency. In baseball, if you establish a strike zone, you're supposed to stay by those parameters.
Right.
And in basketball, you want the same type of consistency.
We'll start this second quarter with the Lakers inbounding from the far sideline. Here you see number 3, Deshaun Bunch, adjusting his offense. Ball is nearly stolen away. Barry comes up with it eventually, and he'll take his Pistons down court for their first offensive possession of the quarter.
Get a good shot.
Here you see number 13, that was Marlon Montesser, fresh in the game.
So Kevin Barry will go to the line. He's the 5th leading scorer in the MNBL, a veteran on this Pistons team, averaging 16.4 on the season, but he's struggled tremendously from the line. We'll see if he can improve his 33% total from the stripe thus far this season.
Now, you know who I'm also looking for on the Pistons side is 42 Kyle Rufo. I said his name earlier by accident, but I still just have not seen him. Is he that would be crazy if Rufo and Garner were not here. No wonder it's such a low-scoring game on both sides. I mean, we know the Lakers are dead last in the league on offense, but the Pistons should definitely be putting up some numbers.
Well, we've seen Garner, and he's definitely one of the star players in this league. He runs the point guard as a player that is pretty big, and he has a presence down low as well. And whenever we've seen Garner out here, it's mostly been on the fast break. And he has fast break points every single game, and he puts up big numbers, so it's a huge loss for the Pistons. Rufo is another big body in the middle, and the loss of a big body is always a big deal when size really matters out here in the MNBL.
Pretty much have to adjust your speed accordingly.
As I said, Barry only 33% from the line, and for a guy that puts up huge numbers like he does, 16 points per game, that's somewhat surprising.
Free throws are good. Extends the lead to 8-4.
Free throws can be the difference in a game. I mean,
That's right.
Jim, you know that as well as anybody.
I know you're a big fan of the free throws.
I'm a huge fan.
Oh,
Another somewhat fade away by Johnny Jean.
That was a real nice touch by Gene. He's the second leading scorer on the Lakers with 7.5 points per game.
Bailey goes down low to the baseline. No good. John pushes it, resets the offense. Bunch at the top of the key. John, open shot, no good. Pistons come down with it. Here comes Barry on the right side. Gets it stripped away by the Lakers. They have numbers and they're fouled. Definitely a good foul on that breakaway.
Oh, and it's so sweet when you see the Gene twins alone by themselves on the fast break.
We could have seen something pretty.
It runs in the family, that quick, speedy type of game.
That's right. Meanwhile, Johnny will go to the line.
And I'm sure they know each other's games as well as anyone else, as they've grown up playing ball together in the
Of course.
parks of Malden.
Huggins, who's fresh in the game now, Calston Huggins making his presence felt immediately with the offensive rebound, and he's hacked.
I was surprised. I was surprised we didn't see Huggins earlier in the game because he's a real big body for the Lakers, and he does
Certainly.
average 7 points a game.
Huggins is just about the tallest guy in the league, especially on the Lakers, that's for certain.
What year is he? Is he relatively new?
I'm unsure.
By MNBL standards, he's a 7-footer.
Oh, for certain.
He just towers over the common man.
Is he their starting center?
He didn't start this game, no.
If Huggins learned to use his size more effectively down in the post, I'm sure he'd put up definitely double-digit numbers.
Back in the game is Gomez for the Lakers. Lakers, after having several opportunities to hit some free throws, just can't hit any of them. Pistons push it right back.
Easy shots, guys.
Inside look. He was outnumbered by a lot, and the Lakers push it.
Oh, that was an incredible pass from Bunch.
Yeah, disappointing. But apparently he took too many steps, and they're going to call it every time.
That was
Definitely
just
not afraid
beautiful.
to call it in this league.
Such a shame they waved that bucket off.
Marwin Monster pushes it in. Washington, the hook goes long.
Come on, guys. Strong defense, guys.
Gomez from the baseline, no good. And after Washington gets the rebound, he swings around and is eventually hacked. Lakers pick up the foul, and Pistons will inbound from the left side.
And although this is a low-scoring game, Coach Beanie has to be encouraged that the Lakers are in this ballgame.
He put his hat back on, so
Got a good
that's
shot.
a good opponent. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
Errant pass goes out of bounds. Lakers ball.
And Hager, the very big flamboyant nail in the middle for the Lakers comes back into the game.
Shot just inside the three-point line, does not fall. Once again, the Lakers pick up the foul. That time it's on John Jean. Pistons up 8-6, 5 minutes to go in this half. Kevin Barry will go to the line.
Not fouling anybody, are you?
Coach Paul Conrad just confirming with Charles Washington, he's not going to commit too many more fouls. Not the brightest thing. Kevin Barry to attempt his second. Hits them both.
And Barry's 4 for 4 from the line today. He has to be pleased with that performance.
And 4 points is the difference in this ball game. Oh, how things work out. Offensive foul.
I think he stepped out of bounds.
Did he step out of bounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pass it out. Good shot, guys. Fuck it.
Bailey was looking for the cut. The cut never came, and the ball went out of bounds.
Hager, way too many steps that
travels. There's that anger face. Pistons call a timeout. 10-6, they have the lead. 3:39 to go in this first half.
And Hager that time walked all the way from the first ward of Malden to Ward 7. Very nearby, but nonetheless, few too many steps.
Far too many.
Yes, far too many.
You see Coach Paul Conrad of the Pistons showing his team on the board what to do.
He loves to use the board, huh?
Definitely is a board kind of guy.
Conrad is definitely a board man, and as we look across the way, the opposite side of the floor, all the championship banners lined up on the far side. Both of these teams have experienced the glory and got the jacket not so long ago. The Lakers won 2005, just 2 years ago. The Pistons got a jacket in 2003, so still somewhat fresh in their memories, trying to get back to those glory days.
Marcus Bailey over to Monisser. Bailey gets it back, tries the inside pass. It's kicked. Kick ball goes back over to the Pistons.
Speaking of kick balls, did you see the U.S.-Mexico game the other day when the referee helped the U.S. out a little bit?
Just a little. Goals don't come too often in soccer, so anything is going to be huge.
Hey, it counts as long as it's in the net, right?
That's right.
Just like a couple weeks ago, we saw a player here in the MNBL take the ball and head for the wrong basket.
Wrong basket, that's true. We hear that happens every year, and hopefully that was the only time for this year.
But that happens on every single level. I mean, you see that happen in the NFL a few times.
Yes.
Yeah.
John Jean at the line for the Lakers. Barry, right side, puts it up and gets fouled.
And Barry has to continue to do that because, I mean, at his level of play, he can pretty much do whatever he wants out on the floor as long as he's assertive.
Out on the floor. No looks of it.
Certainly one of the best two players on the team, but with Garner out, he takes that higher step.
Okay, Coach.
Misses his free throws. Ball nearly goes out of bounds, saved by the Pistons. Ball all over the floor. They call a jump ball. An awkward jump ball, to say the least, but the Lakers come up with it. Tip-tack-toe passes.
Oh, that was a beautiful sequence. We've seen some really nice passing from this Lakers team on the fast break and in that half-court set as well. Bunch found Gene and over to LaForest.
That's right.
Too bad he couldn't finish, but it was a real nice sequence.
Did you just hear that? Barry, 3 fouls.
Wow.
That's huge.
All in this first half.
And if you're Coach Conrad, I would take Barry out of the game before the first half comes to an end.
If you're the Lakers, go right at him.
That's certainly a good choice. LaForest hits, gets the free throw to go, and decreases the lead to a one-possession game. A foul on the rebound.
And we've seen Barry drive the lane quite a bit early on in this game. He has to be extremely careful that he's under control and that he doesn't initiate the contact, because if he picks up his 4th foul, that's going to put the Pistons at a huge disadvantage. We're not even at the half yet.
Right.
Charles Washington at the line.
Washington's the 3rd leading scorer for the Pistons. He's averaging 8 points a game.
Let's go, guys. Pepsi.
Bunch.
Watch the read.
Looks for the inside man, instead gets it to Gomez. Outside shot is no good. Ball goes out of bounds. Stays with the Lakers. In comes Delayaquano and Johnny Jean for the Lakers.
Gomez comes out of the game for the Lakers. He hasn't put up big numbers this year, just over 3 points a game, but he brings that veteran leadership that really helps out in the locker room and in practice, and you really can't discount that.
Ball tipped out of bounds by Delayaquano. Pistons will get the ball. With just over 2 minutes left in this half, they have a 2-point lead here, 10-8. Marcus Bailey setting the offense for the Pistons. Barry doing what he does on the right side, gets fouled again. He's been doing it on both ends. He's committing the fouls, but he's also being fouled as well.
Very smart player.
Meanwhile, the Lakers call a timeout.
And unlike the first game we saw today, where it seemed like both teams were somewhat lackadaisical on the offensive side, both teams here are hustling. They're hustling. They're just not getting the results that they're used to. And I mean, you just can't blame it on the hustle, but it is a sloppy brand of basketball early on, and we can assume that this will turn around in the second half. It did in both previous games, as the coaches will devise a new strategy, hopefully.
What's the lowest score you've seen in a half?
Well, I think the previous game we saw here earlier, we saw a 9-point putout.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right now the Lakers are at 8, but they have a full 2 minutes.
And in and of itself, the Lakers coaching staff is full of quite a few characters.
Yeah, I think there's even non-coaches in that huddle.
Right.
They make their presence felt. Kevin Barry, who's lived at the line today.
Barry hit his first 4 free throws from the stripe, and he's missed 3 in a row now. So,
Wow.
From the free throw line, it's all about routine. You do the same thing every single time, and with that comes consistency.
Watch out. Here comes Washington. Ball goes off of his knee as the ref's so blatantly demonstrates as he pats his own. Elias is a big fan of that. He finds it amusing.
I like that call.
Reach-in foul.
To quote Beatty, he said that he's the dirtiest dozen of them all, referring to JJ.
Sean at the line, shooting 2.
And Coach Beatty never suffers from a shortage of catchphrases, that's for sure.
I think he's starting to realize, hey, my team's got a real shot at this. Only down 3.
That's very true. 3, and now it's 2. Marcus Bailey quickly up the court for the Pistons. Foul on the floor. John Jean, that's his second. And now both teams are in the double bonus.
And gentlemen, what's really kept the Lakers in this game, I think, is they've played real hard defense, hustling on every single possession. And they're set up in that 2-3 zone with the Jean twins at the top. And both of them just hustle every single possession. Well, that's really all you can ask for.
That's right. The zone works well with teams that like to penetrate. So we've seen that with both these teams. We know they like to do that, and it's been a good job preventing them from doing so.
In the zone, when someone penetrates, everyone kind of collapses to the middle. It's a zone defense set up for the weak side man to be able to help when someone drives the lane.
Coach Paul Conrad, I can somewhat hear him discussing the foul. He's worried about some of his players fouling out of the game before this full set is over. Certainly something you don't want to worry about in the second quarter of a basketball game.
That's for sure.
We'll see Marcus Bailey, number 23 for the Pistons, go to the line to shoot 2.
And Coach Conrad's in a real tough position here with Barry having 3 fouls because they're only up by 2, the Pistons. They want to try to build some sort of lead going into the half, but at the same time, you don't want Barry to pick up his 4th foul.
Well, he's in the game still. As Bailey hits his first.
Coach Conrad has a lot of faith in Barry. I think that's why you haven't seen him make a move yet to take him out.
Well, we'll see if that works for him. It could be a good decision. It could be ignorance. We'll see. Right away, Freeman comes back with the layup to the right side, and just like that, they increase the lead to 6 points. Hager looking for somewhere to go with it, almost has it picked.
I don't know how he came out of that alive.
Ooh, indeed. See a couple players take a big fall there. That'll be a blocking foul. Number 13, Marvin Mondesser. Johnny Jean at the line.
And the Pistons defender was under the basket that time. Conrad was arguing to get that offensive foul called, but he was really too far under the hoop. He didn't have proper positioning.
It's really hard to tell without a circle under the basket to determine where that position is. Another blocking foul called on the other end this time in a 5-point game. Here's Bailey at the line. Extends the lead to 16-10 with 1:06 left in this first half.
And we've seen a few free throws come up way short today. That time, Bailey didn't even draw iron. Suda aired a free throw as well earlier.
I told you, man, there's something in the air. Wow. Monster just picked up his 4th personal. 4th personal.
One more and gone, right?
One more and gone. Completely unacceptable.
This, of course, the 3rd game of a triple header here on Saturday. The first game was very up-tempo, very few fouls called. Now this is the 2nd game in a row where we've seen a lot of free throws.
You can attest that somewhat to the change in referees. We had in our first game a female referee. The first time we've seen that in the Malden Neighborhood Basketball League.
Well, it's really good to see because, I mean, in the NBA, they've started to have female referees more and more. And there's nothing to say that they can't do as good a job as anyone else.
Lakers come up with the loose ball. Bounce pass falls short, and Pistons come up with it. Less than a minute now to go in this half. Freeman just inside the three-point line, misses. Gene wants to take it himself here. He does and misses himself. Gets his own rebound under the basket, puts it back. Great hustle there. Staying with the ball and decreasing the lead to 1 possession. Baseline jumper is good. He's been trying that most of this game, finally was able to hit it.
Quiets the crowd right down.
So the Lakers will have the final shot of the first half.
Right to the basket he goes, but just rims out. Doug Bunch. So at the end of the first half, the Pistons have a 4-point lead over the Lakers, 18-14. It's 18-14.
Welcome back to the Ferryway School in Malden, 18-14 at the half. And Jim, real close ball game. The Lakers are hanging in there. What do they have to do in the second?
That's right, Elias. The Lakers are hanging in there, and what they need to do is score some buckets, okay? Pretty much what
That's
it comes
pretty
down
straightforward.
to. They have not hit any quality shots. Most of their points have pretty much been off free throws.
Right.
So what they need to do is slow it down, set up an offense, run set plays, and pass it around until you find the best shot available. Because when you find the best shot available, you have the best percentage chance to hit the basket.
And Gary, the Pistons are missing a couple of their star players, Rufo and Garner. Kevin Berry's going to have to step up at some point and kind of take control of this game.
Well, I was just going to say, not only is he going to have to take control of the game, but he's going to have to do it without picking up 2 more fouls, because 2 more fouls is out of the game. The other thing they got to try and do is just somehow build a lead and keep the energized Coach Beanie on the sideline, because right now, where he's sensing it's close, he's excited and he's got his team ready to play.
Well, we've got a real up-tempo game in the first half. We look forward to much of the same in the second. The Pistons are on top, 18-14 over the Lakers. And welcome aboard second half action here from the Ferryway School in Malden. MNBL basketball is on the air. That's a real tongue twister. Elias Feldman alongside Jim Foley, our special guest, city councilor. Gary is alongside as well. An 18-14, real tight ball game. The Pistons on top by 4. The Pistons missing 2 of their best players, Craig Gardner being one of them.
And as we saw a lot in the first half, right away in this second half, there's a foul on this first possession. Only this time it's on the Lakers. We definitely don't want to see too much of that on the Pistons side, as several of their guys are in trouble. Monster has 4, Barry has 3. need is 5 fouls, and you are gone.
And Bailey only 25% from the stripe on the season. This time he converts on both attempts.
Come on, Pistons, top defense.
Here you see Gene running the point. We
Now
saw
Bunch.
Not Bunch, exactly. We saw Bunch do most of that in the first half.
Barry with the outlet pass, and Marcus Bailey takes too many steps as he catches the ball out of the wing.
One thing to say about these Lakers, they act quick. Fast, all of them.
Very, very quick, speedy team. Bunch hits Gene as he drives towards the lane and finishes. That's Johnny Gene. Number 10, his twin brother is Gene, with the number 1 on his jersey. And Freeman comes up with the loose ball, and he can't hit, excuse me. And a different starting lineup in the second half for the Lakers. Calliston Huggins is starting this time. He didn't come in until the second quarter. As Gene is off the mark, Huggins gets the rebound and is fouled as he goes up back towards the basket. He'll go to the line for 2.
That second half moves has paid off. Huggins got the board down the other end. Now he's going for...
Now, that's what we should be used to hearing is fouls on Washington. Washington leads this team with 28 fouls on the season coming into tonight's matchup.
Huggins, 31% from the stripe.
I said, even if you don't foul him, they're calling the foul.
And immediately after Washington is called for the foul, he's taken out of the game. So Pistons back the other way. Barry from the right wing. He's off the mark, and Huggins comes down with the board.
The Lakers, just like that, have cut this lead to 2.
Huggins catches down low, and he's fouled again. That's what he has to do. He has to get position, catch it down on that block, and then go up strong. And we've seen back-to-back possessions now. He's caught the ball deep. He's had good position, and he's gone to the line.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Elias.
So here at the Ferryway School in Malden, we have another barn burner. And what we thought was going to be a quiet day has turned out to be one of many thrills.
And of course, the contributing factor to this Lakers team staying in the game is, one, the great amount of fouls by the Pistons, and 2, the lack of showing up by Garner and Rufo. I mean, Garner probably has, like they said, family excuse. We still don't know what's going on with Rufo, but this happens every once in a while. You just don't like to see 2 players on the same team be out in the same game, especially 2 of the quality players.
Huggins with the rebound down low. Oh, and he gets it to go.
Count it.
And multiple second chance opportunities on the offensive end for the Lakers.
Look at that, they have the lead.
And the Lakers are on top, 21-20. And Huggins, I mean, I haven't seen him be this effective thus far this season. He's doing a great job of using his size to get to the free throw line. However, he hasn't been able to convert with the free throw attempts.
Well, he is second on the team in free throw attempts, so he does know how to get to the line.
And another fast break run to perfection by the Lakers, but waved off. And the referees are absolutely killing the Lakers on those fast break tries. Wilhart now on the left wing finds Barry. A lot of traffic in the middle of the lane. The Pistons need to spread the floor as Bailey somehow gets towards the basket. Bunch. Lakers have numbers 3 on 2, but he falls down and he traveled.
The players never heard the whistle. They just kept going with it. But yeah, the whistle was definitely blown earlier.
It really doesn't matter what they do after the whistle blows. Somehow I get the feeling that this game is being dictated by the whistle quite a bit. But as long as they're consistent, we talked about this earlier, that's fine with the coaches.
Barely got his feet off the ground on that shot.
Wilhart with a second chance try. A completely errant shot, nowhere near the rim. And the Lakers will have a chance to extend their lead.
You see the Lakers taking a different approach now, setting up their offense. As I
Huggins
mentioned,
again.
that's right, that's what they needed to do. They ran their play, found their man, hit the shot.
And it's very clear that Coach Beanie drew up a completely different game plan. And now JJ on the fast break finishes with the right hand.
Coach Beanie dancing on the sideline.
The Lakers are ecstatic as Bailey tries to find an opening. Another steal by the Lakers.
Oh, Bunch had two Pistons in his way on that pass. Should have looked up and slowed it down. When the Pistons are set on the fast break, you have to be aware of that. And can't just keep forcing the ball ahead regardless.
Bunch had a bunch of Pistons defenders back.
His coach is all up in a bunch after that play.
So a jump ball now with the big giant Huggins, and I'd be surprised if Barry even tried to get off the ground right here.
Gene thought they were going the other way. Fortunately, he didn't have the ball. He was like, hit me, no. Oh, okay. Now he needs to run that way.
Now Barry trying to push the ball. Bailey with a mid-range jumper, yes.
Stop the bleeding.
And after Lakers went on a 7-0 run, finally the Pistons come back with a bucket, and Gene towards the basket again. Doesn't get it to fall. And the Pistons will get the ball back with 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
Good style moves, just can't finish, huh?
He looks real good doing it. Barry now has the Lakers swarming around him.
Well, rightfully so. He's their leading scorer.
And I think the Pistons sideline is slightly aggravated about Freeman's shot selection on that possession, to put it nicely.
You see Bunch back up at the top of the key here.
Gene now in the corner, dribbles with the left hand baseline, and a nice finish again.
That's their biggest lead of this ball game. It's 5 points.
And Conrad's forced to call a timeout to stop the bleeding. And the Lakers are on top 27-22.
Did you just say the Lakers?
And we're talking about the 1-7 Lakers.
It would only make sense today, right?
And it only makes sense after we've seen two great games prior to this. Two games where the underdog put up a great fight. One of those two games, the underdog, the Sixers, toppled the undefeated Celtics and handled them their first loss. In the second game, a much smaller Bullets team tried to hang in there and did a real good job. And now an undersized Lakers team is hanging in there with the Pistons.
Well, they're never undersized when they have Huggins out on the floor.
That's the exception.
Pretty much take the whole Piston team and pile them up on top of each other, and they'll reach Huggins.
And finally, Huggins has decided to use his size effectively, and it's really paying off for the Lakers.
Freeman chooses to pass it this time.
He got rid of it real fast, you notice. Now Wilhart, 5 seconds, 3-second call. You could also call 5 seconds with holding the ball. So under a minute to play in the third quarter.
Coach Beanie calls the play, and the Lakers are using patience to set it up. Waiting for the Pistons to adjust their defense, and they're going to play off of that accordingly.
Finally, Bunch gets rid of it, and Gene off the mark.
I liked what they did there. They waited for the Pistons to come to them and then dished it out to find the open man, so they had the advantage.
Now Barry with 25 seconds on the clock. Barry to the middle of the lane with the right jump hook.
Huggins got way up on that
He
rebound.
skied for the board.
Little give and go.
Now 10 seconds on the clock. If Gene had made that, the Lakers bench would have erupted. Now Gene on the left wing from downtown. It doesn't go. The Pistons are going to run out the clock here and not get a shot off. And so the spirit of the Lakers is sky high right now, 27-22. The big-time underdog Lakers on top. And, gentlemen, we couldn't have asked for much more in this ballgame.
Yeah, no question about it. You can see it over here in the Pistons tunnel. They're just bewildered right now.
And there's no question about it. The Lakers have the momentum now, as long as they can keep it up.
You can't forget how good this Pistons team truly is. Their record is 4-4. The Lakers 1-7. That amount of that 3-win difference could carry over into this fourth quarter, because fourth quarter is where it counts the most.
And you can safely say that up until this point in the season, this is perhaps the Pistons' most important quarter of the year. This is going to be the make or break quarter for them. If they fight back and overcome the lead, they'll be over 500. If not, they fall into a real big hole.
And if the score holds, what will the Pistons be looking back at as to why they lost? You said they were missing a couple key players, and
That's
that
right.
could be the difference?
They're definitely missing. They're missing Garner and Rufo. Bringing those guys back will definitely be a boost. They're obviously a better team with those guys rather than without them. So a loss here, you can't take too much. You can't look too much into that because of those two guys.
At 4-5 with only 5 games to play, you're in a deep hole. If you're the Pistons.
Most certainly are.
Now Freeman picks up his dribble on the wing. Barry, free throw line jumper. Doesn't go, and here come the Lakers once again. Trying to slowly extend this very small lead that they've had. The entry pass to Huggins was deflected.
Very weak and soft pass trying to go inside.
Bailey now goes baseline right hand floater.
It's tough to hit a floater from the baseline.
Bunch, nice court vision that time to Gene.
Very well. Very well done. As I was saying, you want to hit those floaters going to the basket. It's hard to hit them from the baseline because you don't have the backboard to back you up.
And that time Bush didn't push it too hard. He slowed the ball up and found Gene very nicely under the basket. Outlet pass to JJ. He can't finish, but the trailer gets the rebound.
Delalayacano had his chance.
Bailey now. And Mondesir in now to replace Wilhart. Getting some fresh legs in the game for the Pistons. And it just seems like Barry has not found his rhythm. I mean, he's getting the looks, he has the opportunities, and he has plenty of field goal attempts, but they're just not going down for him.
Yeah,
Freeman
just keeping his hands up the entire time, no matter what. Out and up, out and up.
And Freeman, although he had the wide open look, he refused to take the shot. The Gene brothers, 2-on-1.
Well, you can make an excuse that with his entire bench complaining about him taking too many shots, that was probably in his mind, so he didn't want to take that shot there, even though he had the best look.
There he is. Freeman goes glass.
Makes up for it there. Well,
that's more within his range, though. I mean,
you just can't rely on Barry. You can tell. That's what's happening. Barry's gassed. Puffing and puffing, and it's just, you need one or two players here. Pistons haven't been able to really turn to anyone else.
near steal by Washington. Does a good job not to foul.
Bunch off the pick from Huggins.
Wow, Gene came out of nowhere to get that rebound.
And these little guys, they're simply out-hustling the Pistons right now.
That's a good point, right. Even if you had 2 players, 3 players on the Pistons that could shoot, I don't know, the way this team's scurrying about. Seems like they're everywhere, every loose ball, every rebound.
The much smaller Lakers players are just cleaning up and getting all those loose balls.
Maybe one thing we can look at, too, is they get the late game, you know? So maybe the Pistons, they're ready for supper.
It certainly has gotten to that time. This third game started very late due to the fact that the first and second game carried a lot longer than normal. And of course, even though they have the set game time to start at 3:45, they can't start if there's the other team that's still playing. There's only one court here. So it's a disadvantage for the third team to have to start so late.
20 of 6 right now.
So 31-24, the Lakers surprisingly on top here with just under 7 minutes to play in the ball game.
Wow.
Huggins again.
Great look to Huggins. He just caught the ball, spun, and put it up. Didn't waste any time.
Bailey now splits the Lakers defense and can't find Washington under the basket.
My game MVP so far, Huggins. What a move starting in the second half. It's paid off.
Huge decision by Coach Beanie. Hager back in the game now to Huggins. I don't know if that was a pass or not.
He was just trying to save it from going out of bounds.
Bailey has it swatted back in his face, and here comes Gene.
I think that was Gene. He had Huggins in front of him, so we couldn't really tell. But yeah, I think that was Gene. Well, the shot started very low. So he had a little bit, of an advantage there when the shot was shot from pretty much his hips.
And if Gene hadn't blocked it, Huggins definitely would have cleaned up.
Oh, yeah.
So we have another Pistons timeout here. The Lakers are up 9.
Elias, once again, you see Coach Conrad. He's probably on his second pen by now.
He's been all up and down that drawing board all day. And I mean, this is upset Saturday here at the Ferryway School in Malden.
Maybe we can catch some of the ref getting his own fun in during the timeout, getting his shots on.
And thank goodness the refs aren't playing in this game, because I don't think they could make a basket if their lives depended on it.
Ouch. Hope they don't see this tape.
Hey, I'm sure they were good back in their salad days, but that's why they get their exercise of refereeing, right?
It's a workout.
Oh, it's a huge workout. And for the first time today, the Lakers lead by 10, their largest lead of the day.
Wow.
And after Gene hits 2 free throws, the Lakers have a comfortable advantage with 5:30 to play.
Pistons have barely even gotten 10 points this whole half.
And the foul's on Hager. And to be completely honest, I don't know which would be a bigger upset, the Lakers over the Pistons or the one that we saw in the first game of this tripleheader, the Sixers beating the Celtics.
Anytime you get your first loss of the season, I would think that would be.
Well, that was a much tighter game. That one went into overtime.
And JJ just so fly, so quick. And Freeman says, get out of my house. But the ball will stay with the Lakers.
Nothing's free past him.
Bunch from long range. Freeman now an outlet pass behind his back, trying to get fancy, but Washington could not handle the pass. And if you're Bunch, the Lakers point guard, you want to take your time bringing the ball up the court. You want to burn some clock right here. There's no need to push it. Huggins with that little mid-range jumper.
Another foul.
On the rebound.
Lakers fouls on number 1. John Green for his third personal.
Come on, Pistons. Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
I should have had the basket in the second half there because he fouled the whole half.
An errant pass to JJ again. Ooh.
Oh, my.
And I feel like it's an instant replay every time he gets out open on the fast break. Washington at the free throw finds Barry. Barry with a 3-foot jumper off the back of the backboard. And luckily for the Pistons' sake, they retain possession. Gomez gets the steal, outlet to Gene with a wide open layup once again.
I got Coach Beanie loving it.
And Beanie, deja vu. He deserves this after a real tough start to the season. Bunch to the middle of the lane as he skies in. He can't finish.
Good effort there by Bunch.
Well, that was a real nice drive by Bunch. And him and Barry exchange a few boisterous words.
You saw Bunch there pointing to the scoreboard, indicating his team having the lead.
And Barry has to sit down with 2:40 to play. So with 2:40 to play, 39-24, Lakers on top, and they've slowly extended this lead. And are in full control of this ball game now as Washington looked like he was swatted by Huggins, but Huggins called for the foul.
If that's it, that's his fifth. He's done.
So Huggins has to sit down, but he did his job. He did his job.
They know it.
There's no doubt about it. Huggins was the difference maker in this one. So Washington at the line, he's averaging 8 points per game. Only 31%, however, from the line, and that shows on his first attempt as he misses both.
They'll get right back.
Lakers fouls on number 3.
They can inch back without taking away clock time. That's the most important thing.
If you're the Lakers, all that matters is that the clock is running. And another free throw that doesn't draw any iron. So the Pistons pick up some full court pressure. So the Pistons coach, Coach Conrad, trying to will his team to play a little bit of defense here and somehow come up with another possession. Bunch just burning the clock, let it tick away. Hager inside at the free throw line. And there's no reason the Lakers should take a shot here if they don't have to. Hager gets a wide open look after all that and follows his own shot. Gomez, the crafty veteran, way off the mark, and finally the Pistons come up with a loose ball.
Lakers fouls on number 3, 8 on 1. His third person is Gomez.
So a 13-point advantage now for the Lakers. And if they do indeed get the W today, it's in large part due to the Jean twins, who have worked the fast break to perfection throughout this ballgame.
Yeah, and just the speed of the team.
They do know how to run it well, and when they can get that to execute, they can put up some numbers.
This upset should bode well for me on around the rim, too, as I'm assuming Coach Bean will be in a great mood Thursday night.
Well, Coach Beanie won't be there, but...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a Dudley.
Although Nestor was saying he'd like to have Beanie on at some point in time.
So if the Pistons drop this one, they will be in sole possession of 5th place behind the Sixers. The Sixers won earlier today, toppling the undefeated Celtics. So this will be a huge blow to the Pistons' hopes. And they're going to have to win a number of games coming down the stretch if they're going to get into the playoffs.
I certainly think the Pistons will have to step it up for definitely every single game is going to count after this for the Pistons.
They're going to have a lot of must-win games. So with under a minute to play, 39-28, the Lakers with a huge upset in the making.
Certainly looking that way. They have less than a minute to go. It's double digits. The Lakers just have to retain possession here and just not, for one, stop the clock with fouls. And for two, turn it over just like that on a backcourt violation.
And these last few minutes have been very sloppy, but besides that, you have to give the Lakers all the credit in the world for all their hustle, for getting back in this game after being down by 6 points early in the first quarter.
With the biggest lane in the world all the way to the back.
Now Sands will be at the line for a couple free throws. And for the Lakers, this will be a huge confidence builder, although they're most likely not going to be making a trip into the playoffs. This energy will most definitely carry over into their next game.
certainly will be discussed at length on Around the Rim.
So 20 seconds to play, 10-point advantage for the Lakers. And Gomez gets the steal to Hager.
Just hang on to the ball.
And there's no need to shoot, but LaForest finishes with the layup. As the Lakers bench goes wild. And with 1.7 to play, the clock will stop, but it's not going to do any good for the Pistons because the Lakers, they played quite a ball game, Jim.
They certainly have, Elias. They've adjusted in this second half with their shot selection. They've stepped it up on defense as well. They've barely allowed any points in the second half to this Piston team. But most importantly, they've been putting up baskets. They've been running the floor. They've been getting rebounds. All that has added up to this victory.
So as the buzzer sounds here at the Ferryway School in Malden, the Lakers take this one 41-30 in a major upset. They are absolutely ecstatic. The Lakers improved their record to 2-7. They'll end a 4-game losing streak. The Pistons, on the other hand, extend a losing streak to 3 games and fall to 4-5.
They're just too good, huh? They're just too good. Give them that tackle play, please.
So the Lakers take this one a big upset here in Malden in the MNBL. They beat a Pistons team who is really faltering. They lose 3 straight games and fall to 4-5, Jim. This was a huge win for the Lakers team.
A huge win and a huge confidence booster, as you said. The momentum shifted to them in the second half. They felt it. Coach Beanie Amos talked with them. Coach Bernard Stroud talked with them, settled them down, got them to play as a team. And when you play as a team, good things can happen.
And Gary, the Pistons star player, Barry, struggled a little bit. On the other side of the court, the difference was Huggins for the Lakers. He came in and was definitely the big difference maker.
Yeah, well, first on the Pistons, I thought what happened was when you only had Barry as the player and nobody else, I think that finally got to Barry and he lost his composure during the second half of the game. As far as the Lakers go, it's all energy.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. For Gary Christensen and Jim Foley, I'm Elias Feldman. The Lakers take this one a major upset here in Malden, 41-30. Until next time, so long.